music that Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are so excited today. We have a very special guest with us. One of our favorite Hallsters is here. First time on the podcast. We have Jack Turner is here.
All right,
Jack,
all right.
Yes, Jack, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you.
Yes. We like to start out our interviews by asking what inspired you to get into acting? How did you get started?
Yeah, sure. I got into acting relatively late in comparison to, a lot of people who seem to do it from the womb. I learned to act when I was living in San Francisco. I was about 24, maybe. I was working for Google at the time in San Francisco, and I would get off the bus every day at work, and across from the Google office was an acting studio, Shelton Studios, and it had this beautiful sign up on the pier of the founder, Gene Shelton. A picture maybe from the 50s, huge picture, beautiful black and white, and it literally was a kind of a sign that like drew me in to check it out. And I thought that it would be helpful for work, for presentations and such. Just as a general kind of practice of psychology, which is my background, and understanding other people. And I hoped that it would benefit my work. Well, it didn't, because I ended up falling in love with acting, and then that became my work. So that was really how I got into acting. I was doing a night school up there for about 2 years, multiple nights a week after I'd finished work at Google. And then
so how did you end up at Google to begin with from England?
Well, that was just an interview that went my way. I was lucky. I came out of university, I had good grades, and someone said, Google are kind of looking for people with your background and what you're kind of coming with out of university. And, so I literally went in the front door. I didn't know anyone there. I shot in an application in the dark. They got back to me, and had the interviews with the finance team there in London, because I worked in what they call the finance team. But what that means is we had financial services clients. So, for example, if a bank or something needed to sell a credit card on Google, and at the time a lot of people didn't necessarily know how to do that, we would help them with their campaigns so they did as well as possible. And then, they would see the value in working with us over time. So anyway, met with the finance team, had an interview, and was lucky enough to get in. And then after a couple of years in London, I transferred to San Francisco, and I worked there for about 3.
Okay, so you started working in London and then got to move over.
Yeah, and I was really lucky actually, because London at the time, and who knows, it might still be, was kind of one of the most competitive markets for Google in the world. High population density, very high internet speeds, and so it was because of the competition. It was very tough to make it work for people. So we learned a lot, and we got to kind of take that knowledge elsewhere.
Was your family kind of upset that you're moving over to the States so far away?
No, if they were, they hid it well, and I think that it was the way that my life was going.
Well, I think that you could make a Hallmark movie about your life. I mean, you're in business, right? You're working it out. You see of course you'd have to make it a girl in the acting studio or whatever.
There you go. Yeah.
And that would draw you away from
we should make this
business.
Happen. We should write a script.
All right, I'm ready. Good. Let's do it. That would be good.
Yeah.
You can have Taylor as your ingenue at the acting studio.
Yeah, there you go.
It writes itself.
It's done. It's in the can already.
Okay. All right, let's do it. So you started out at this acting school, and then do you remember like the first real kind of role that you got? what that was like?
Yeah. The first.
Did you just sort of freak out?
Yeah, I did. In fact, my dad was visiting at the time from England, and it was the first role I got in a feature, and it was a lead role. It ended up not getting finished. It was it just didn't work out, and it has not seen the light of day, which is probably a good thing. But yeah, I was so excited to do it and work on that feature. Before that, I had done a short, and I had so many examples of even things like shorts stopping me from doing things I'd planned in my personal life. I was meant to be at a friend's wedding in Turkey, and then this short came up, but it was like a really good opportunity. It was my first time opportunity to get good footage, and I couldn't go to that. And that happens so often. If you want to book a job, book a plane ticket as an actor.
Right.
And so, but my first feature was that one. My first feature to finish was a film called The 10-Year Plan, and I was thrilled to get that. It was a LGBT movie that did really well in about 2014. And I got to do a number of film festivals with that, tour around a bit, and it went on Netflix and did really well. A lot of people around the world have seen it and written me notes and stuff like that. It's been wonderful. So I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will continue.
And on IMDb, it said you're a musician as well. And I see guitars and things in your
my
background.
babies.
Yeah.
These are two of my babies. There are more behind the mirrors. It's an addiction. I have a problem. Yeah. But the first step is admitting you have one.
So did the music then come first before acting?
Oh, yeah.
So
I've done music since I was a kid, and like a lot of kids hated it, and my mum made me take my piano lessons, and it was very helpful for me.
Well, maybe we need to make our dream movie that we're just created into a musical.
Yeah, but I'm a crap singer. I'm a crap singer.
Oh, no.
A lot of people will know. But I'll write the score for it. No problem.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. If you can sing, then we're in business.
If I can sing.
Yeah. Or if you know anyone that can sing.
I'd be the one interested in Taylor. That would be a surprise.
That would be great.
That would be exciting. We've long said that we don't understand why Hallmark doesn't have musicals, because you just think with Christmas and Christmas music.
Yeah, there could be something there.
So good. And there's so many people in the Hallmark family who are musically gifted.
Yeah. There are a lot. Yeah.
I mean, Jessica Lowndes, you have Jen Lilly, you have Alicia Witt. The list goes on and on.
On and on.
So it would be so fun if they had a Hallmark musical at Countdown to Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, the ratings would be through the roof.
It'd be game over. Yeah, the TV would explode.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We just want to take a break from the show just to have a little check-in before we go on in the show. So we actually want to talk about our sponsor for this week, BetterHelp. In 2021, it's definitely okay to talk about your mental health, about your happiness. Humans aren't meant to keep everything inside. It can make us sick, and therapy helps. But what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now. Maybe you need some tools to help. Maybe you've got stress, insecurity, problems in your relationship, are not dealing well with things going on in your life. And that's what therapy can be.
And whatever you need, don't be ashamed. Because normal humans struggle and they start to feel better, and that's okay. It's good to start to feel better because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers you video, phone, or a live chat session with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
The good thing is BetterHelp is much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about. See if it's for you, because you are your greatest asset.
So this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Hallmarkies podcasts listeners can get 10% off of their first month of Better at BetterHelp.com/Hallmarkies. That's BetterHelp.com/Hallmarkies.
So you had an interesting COVID year, it seems like, from
Yeah, I
following
did,
your
yeah.
Twitter. So
Yeah.
you had at one point where you got COVID.
Yeah, I had it super early on, in March, mid-March.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got it or where, but I got it when the world went into shutdown and lockdown. That I think it was like March the 13th was when the world stopped. And I started having symptoms on March 14th.
Oh my
and it's
gosh.
funny because I was socially distancing before that for at least a week, but I did travel the week before. So I don't know. And it wasn't good. It wasn't a good experience.
Yeah,
I was sick
I
for
can
about
imagine.
10 days, and it was okay. I was a bit breathless towards the end, but it was fine. But my wife had a bad time.
Oh, did she?
Yeah,
Oh.
and in fact still can't smell.
Oh.
So she was one of the unfortunate cases where
That's got to
it
be the
doesn't really
weirdest
seem to get
symptom of all, is the
cleared up.
lack of taste. That's so weird. I can imagine.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was not the best, but we were lucky enough to get through it. I recommend people don't get it because you don't want to be the exception.
Please.
You might think you're going to be fine, but that is clearly not the case. My wife's fitter than anyone I know, and it really clobbered her.
Yeah.
So be careful, everyone.
Please, and get your vaccinations. I have my second dose coming up next week. I'm so excited.
Nice.
Woo-hoo.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm really pleased for you.
Yes.
Good stuff.
I this is my greatest accomplishment, is that I went a whole year without getting COVID.
Good for you.
It was very difficult.
Yeah,
it really
tough.
was. I haven't been to church in a year. I've hardly been out of my house.
Yeah.
So,
I think everyone has different priorities, but from my perspective, I think you probably made the right choices.
Yeah, living is always the good choice.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it would.
It's better than the alternative.
So you then shaved your hair off, and you said this was COVID hair. So why was that your response to COVID?
Oh no, that wasn't. I called it a COVID cut, I think, because
COVID cut. Sorry.
Yeah, that was like trending on.
It was on your Twitter, is what you had said.
Oh yeah, well,
that you
COVID
gave
cut.
it a COVID cut, and you shaved off
I was losing my hair for years, so I thought it was time to get rid of it, and and then I did, and I'm so happy I did.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Even if I could, I wouldn't go back. So yeah, I've been very happy to.
So this is the new Jack Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Moving forwards.
Mm-hmm. What did the the Hallmark people and other people what did they think? Were they shocked when you?
I don't know. Honestly, the director said, "I like your new look. Let's go ahead."
There you go.
I didn't speak to anyone at Hallmark about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But everybody seemed to be like it. Everyone seemed to like it.
I have no idea. But I can tell you, I like it.
Yeah.
And my wife likes it. And
there you go.
Life is going to move forward like this.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
I like it. So
thank you very much.
Yeah.
There you go.
You said that you wanted to look like Mad Max in your tweet.
Oh, no, I didn't say I wanted to, but I certainly felt like I did look like Mad Max. Yeah. Bane comparisons were also drawn. But whatever the comparison is, I'll take it.
So then you had tested for the antibody and you had it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And so then you were able to do some work for you were able to help?
I wanted to, and I did help a little bit with some early COVID testing sites. But then other places that I tried to volunteer were incredibly difficult to help. Like one place I called them up and I was like, what can I do? And they were like, nothing. We've got 1 million volunteers. We're overwhelmed by support. Nothing you can do.
Gosh.
So then I was like, do you have anything? And they said, well, you could like man the telephones or whatever in like the graveyard shift. So I said, okay, let's do it. Not particularly looking forward to it. And then they never got back to me. So I had a couple of experiences like that where I was like chasing opportunities up to help, and it didn't really work out. And then also as time passed, we learned more a bit about antibodies and the uncertainty around them, etc. And so I've been as careful as anyone else, despite having had COVID. I felt fairly confident based on the research we were seeing and reading that I wasn't likely to get it again, or if I did, that it wouldn't be perhaps too bad. But I haven't taken that risk. It's been a very isolated year.
Yeah. Well, I can understand that.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Well,
And
you're
also because you don't want to get it and be asymptomatic and then give it to someone else.
true.
That's the real kicker for me. That like,
Right.
yeah, you might get it and you might think you're going to be fine, but do you want to give it to your grandma? No.
Right. Yeah. So your first role for Hallmark was in My Summer Prince,
Yeah.
I believe. And that was your first time working with Taylor as well.
Yeah.
And she's just your good luck charm, it seems like.
Yeah, totally.
Agree. Yeah.
My talisman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That film was so fun. My Summer Prince was so fun. We shot in Park City in Utah.
Yeah.
Taylor's obviously wonderful, as you know. The crew on that was just fabulous. We had just a great time.
Mhm.
It was one of those movies where everything just felt really good. So it was a great
Lauren
introduction
Hawley,
to
that must have been fun to work. Yeah, with Lauren Hawley.
Totally. Yeah. It was just a great situation and a really good introduction to the Hallmark world. And then since then, have been lucky to work with Taylor numerous times, and also with other great castmates too.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing, as you said, was shot in Utah, which is where I'm from.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Where
So
are you from?
I'm about an hour from Park City. I'm like 35 minutes south of Salt Lake. So
All right, like
yeah.
Plano area.
What's that?
Plain. Oh, sorry. No, I'm.
You mean Provo?
Yes. Yeah.
Provo. Yeah. I'm like right in between Salt Lake and Provo. I'm like right in the middle, kind of there.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah. So you were all in my neck of the woods.
Great neck of the woods. Yeah. Really friendly people. Great coffee. Good time. Yeah. I've shot 2 films there. I enjoyed it very much.
Oh yeah. Which was the other one?
The other one was called The Landlord. It might have ended up being called Fatherly Obsession. I forget which. Lifetime film.
Right.
With Molly McCook and Ted McGinley.
Cool.
And in fact, some of the people that were on My Summer Prince in terms of the crew and production were behind that, and then it involved me in it. So yeah, I got to be there twice. It was great.
Cool. Yeah, I like that one. I think it's funny, and I think that I enjoy particularly Lauren Hawley's character being this sort of evil, kind of boss character. I thought she was funny.
It's funny. I think I was only with her for one scene. I was so disappointed because, she was with Taylor, and she was. I think she got sick in the film, right? So she was always like isolated, and so I was never in any of those scenes. But I did get to meet her once towards the end of shooting, and she is a gem.
And Topher Payne wrote that script, and I think he does a very good job with the banter and the characters and things. That
script made me laugh out loud.
Yes.
When I read it, and it's funny. He's such a good writer, and he's so well respected within the playwright community. Also, I'm in acting classes most week, or at least I was before COVID, and I remember a couple of guys put on this great scene. And afterwards, I said to them, who wrote that?
Yeah.
And they were like, Topher Payne. I was like, no way. He wrote My Summer Prince. And his writing really pops.
Yeah, I think we need to get him involved in our little fake movie.
A musical number.
Yeah, our musical number. We can have him involved. And he can help us write the script. And I think he'll be a big fan. We get him involved.
Yep.
So then you had the One Winter Weekend, the first one. Did you have a feeling like this is really fun? I think it's going to work, or you just never know?
Had no idea.
Yeah.
It was really fun to do, certainly, and had zero complaints. Just had a great time doing the first one, but it felt like a contained film at that point, and I wasn't aware that Hallmark did sequential movies necessarily. There probably have been. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then we started getting wind of the second one, and then after the second one, we thought, well, they definitely missed something. Maybe there would be a third one coming. And so, well, up front, I had no idea. But
they don't do that many of the sequels. But honestly, most of the sequels are terrible. And it's
Oh, is that
because it's
right?
like they get the couple together and then they kind of don't know what to do next.
Yeah, it's tough to take
Right.
it somewhere then. Yeah.
And I think because this one had two couples, there was like a little bit more they could kind of do with
Yeah,
that
sure.
second entry. And
Yeah.
it's weird because a lot of times in the second entry, they kind of go sort of dark because they're
really?
like trying to get conflict for these characters. And so
Right.
it cannot work very well at all. But both of the winter movies were both so charming. I loved them both.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for this new one, of course. But are you a like winter sports person? Was that fun at all to be at that?
I do
yeah.
like winter sports very much. I don't get the opportunity to do them that often. I ski and snowboard. These days I prefer to ski. It's nice to have like one leg in case the other one goes a bit funny, you know.
Yeah.
I had a pretty whopping concussion snowboarding once because it's just the way it goes sometimes. And so although I can snowboard, I'm more happy to ski. But yeah, I love being up in the mountains, and that shooting has been kind of the opportunity to do that. So this time we shot in Vancouver rather than Winnipeg and Calgary. And we got to go to a great mountain resort called Hemlock Grove, and it was beautiful. It was quite small, you know, it's just the right size. Nothing was like too much, and we got really lucky with the weather and really lucky with the scenery, and it was a great experience.
Yeah. That would be amazing. And the proposal in the second one was so great, so epic, people love that. So well done.
They made it look so good with the art design. The set designers did such a great job, and all the lighting and stuff. Yeah, they really, hats off to them.
It was so good. We loved it. And then the music, they spent big to get that song from Twilight in there. It was really exciting.
Yeah, totally. Well, stay tuned for the wedding, let me tell you. Yeah,
I can't wait. Well, and Rakia told us that she was super sick in the filming of the second one.
Oh yeah, I forget exactly, but I do remember her kind of rolling out of the trailer for one take and kind of having to be rolled back in. I think she struggled a couple of days there.
Well, that's why I was wondering if you kind of look at experiences like that so different now with all the precautions you have to take with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, I think back on times when I would go to a critic screening because I'm a film critic, and I would just be near death, so sick. But I was like, I got to go to the screening. I got to go. Now I think, what was I thinking? Why did I do that?
I know.
But I was just trying to be a go-getter.
I know, we've all done it. When I was shooting Forever in My Heart, both Merritt and I were sick. She had brutal allergies and I had stomach flu.
Oh no.
And it surprised me. All of a sudden I had to run off to the bathroom, like, you know, throw up, unfortunately. And that was right before a take. And then, you know, you get back to it and the whole crew's ready to go and you're sweating a bit and then you just got to shoot and move on.
Yeah. What's it like for you to do a movie like that where you have to do an accent versus a movie where you're able to be in your regular voice?
Well, for the Irish one, I did have to work on it a bit. The Irish accent is particularly tricky. And I was more used to hearing a Northern Irish accent, perhaps just because of like politics in the UK and stuff. And so when I got the film about 2 weeks before shooting, which isn't a lot of time.
No, that's short.
Yeah. So I worked with a dialect coach for a few sessions remotely. And at the time also, the film originally was going to be set in the southwest of Ireland, which is very particularly Irish. And then the setting of it kind of moved to more around the Dublin area, which is a slightly different accent too. So at the end of the day, I just had to do my best.
Yeah.
And fortunately, we did have a guy on set, Chris McNewman, who's a great actor. And he was there on that to help me just to iron in any last things in the dialect. So I felt like I did an okay job there. But it does throw up challenges. And at the same time, it can almost make choices for you. You can kind of find the character through the accent in a different way. And I always really enjoy that. In a lot of ways, that's sometimes the process I enjoy the most is like the work where I'm tucked away in the dark by myself, like figuring out the difference between one phoneme and another, and I'm trying to really perfect it. For whatever reason, I love it. And then the American accent and my English accent. I mean, my English accent's probably not as good as my American one anymore. So I'm fairly comfortable in both of them.
Yeah. Well, I think you did a good job. I really like Forever in My Heart. I thought it was really sweet. We actually just we have a little show that my friend Lisa Lucas, who's a communications professor, we have a little show we do once a month where we take a Hallmark film and we look at it through friendship and through communication and through things. Anyway, we just did Forever in My Heart. I had it all done before I even knew that I was going to be interviewing you, and then it all happened. I'm like, this is perfect.
Good timing.
I really like it. I think it's really classic. I mean, we were saying on the episode that I don't think there's that big a difference between Forever in My Heart and something like Leap Year for the feature films, in my opinion.
Well, I'm grateful for your opinion, and I loved making that film. It was such a treat to be in Ireland, and it really reminded me of where I grew up in England, and my sister got to come and visit me, and then I got to go to England afterwards. It was a treat to do that. The crew were amazing. The cast was so fun.
It was beautiful.
And some of the locations, like, I don't know if you remember Merritt and I kind of walking up a hill with the lake in the background. That was the Guinness estates, like Guinness. Stupid. It was just the scenery. It was stupid. I couldn't take it.
And I really liked Liam and Catherine's characters, like your BFFs.
Yeah, exactly.
They were so fun.
Yeah, exactly. Emmett and Ro in real life, just brilliant.
Yeah, they were good. And so One Perfect Wedding. Now this seemed like this was talked about for a while, but it just couldn't seem to kind of get done and get made. And so you're finally able to kind of get it done. When did you shoot this? In December?
Hang on. January, actually.
January. Okay.
Yeah. End of January through February, I think.
So that must have been fun to get back all together and be finally making the third movie.
It was so nice. Yeah, it was really nice. It was my first time really being around people for a year. So I was just thrilled to have a conversation with someone face to face, and also to be working again. But to get to see Taylor and Rukia and the director Gary and all that, kind of get the band back together, if you like, was really fun. Yeah.
So did you feel safe with all the precautions and the shields and the masks and all that stuff?
Yeah, I felt super safe. So I had to quarantine for 2 weeks because we shot in Canada and there's a mandatory 2-week quarantine. So that took care of that. I felt really safe there, and I got into a very zen place, not being able to leave a room for 2 weeks. And then shooting wise, everyone was very safe and very respectful, and wearing masks and shields. And so, everyone did their best. And then we would take our masks and shields off in between action and cut. So everyone did their best. Yeah.
So did you do any binge watching when you were in quarantine?
What didn't I binge watch? It's like
you're watching Bridgerton, click.
Opportunity knocks. Yeah. No, I didn't watch Bridgerton. I had an audition. I had an audition for Bridgerton. I didn't get it, so I'm not going to watch it.
No.
The first thing we binge watched, because my wife was sick, we just needed to settle in and watch. I've been trying to get her to watch The Wire for years.
Yeah.
And so we settled in and just crushed episodes and smashed carrot cake, which was the one good thing to come out of it was our baking prowess went through the roof.
That's funny.
So we were just watching episode after episode of The Wire. What else did we binge? I mean, The West Wing, clearly.
West Wing.
You could spend a whole lifetime binging on The West Wing.
So you're on Sorkin kick.
We went on a massive Sorkin kick. I mean, we even started talking more quickly to each other.
Your wife's what is happening here? Why are
exactly. Why are we talking about? Let's talk about the deficit.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to think what else was really, I mean, there were so many good shows last year. That
Yeah.
kind of was the saving grace of 2020.
Yeah,
Was
totally.
all the, I mean, there
We're
were some good
watching a good
movies
one
too,
now.
but
We're watching the Bureau, which is a French series.
oh yeah.
That's well worth it. Yeah, that's deep intrigue. I can't remember what else we binge watched, but there are 3 solid ones.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. And, so obviously this one is going to be about a wedding. The wedding between
Hope so.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it's false advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything else that you can tell us, or is it all too spoiler? You don't want to give it away?
I don't want to give too much away, but
Okay.
I do think that people are going to enjoy it. I think the writers did a really good job in terms of unpacking a bit of the rest of our lives. Like we get to meet Taylor's dad, we get to meet my sister, learn some of the backstories about why the characters are the way they are.
Yeah.
And I think the writers did a really good job of making that just feel very natural and clear. And I know from experience that's very difficult to do. So yeah, they were great.
What do you think about these sweet romances? What do you think are the appeal? And if you were trying to sell someone, say, give it a shot, you might actually like it. What would you say?
Oh yeah. Well, they're sweet films with relatable issues and problems. You know, I think that everyone has and goes through, and I think also the kind of issues that are the most important ones. Like none of us know any superheroes really. You know, like that's not something that happens in real life. You know, whatever it might be, we might not be part of some high stakes bank robbery or something. I don't know, but like. You know, when we look back on our lives, these kind of smaller moments that seem small are the bigger ones, and they're more relatable as a consequence.
Yeah, I've said that for a long time, actually, when people say, oh, those movies, they're so unrealistic. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, most people, you sit down and hear their love story. Most people have a meet cute of some variation of some kind of how they met. Most of them have their, you know, their relationship that's kind of corny and cheeseball. And that's just the way it's part of life.
Yep, exactly.
I agree. Yeah. So cool. Well, we like to end our interviews with some fun, silly questions. Not the previous questions have not been silly, but here we go. So the first question is, what is the best ice cream flavor?
Oh, vanilla.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. All right. What is your favorite color?
Honeycomb. Well, that's a tough one, but I'm gonna go with cobalt blue.
Oh, very specific. Very good. Okay. What music are you listening to or into right now? Since you're a big music person, what's on your playlist?
Brass Tracks, this duo out, I think they're out of New York. They are great. Everything they touch turns to gold. They tend to work with a guest vocalist in each song, but their production is so good, and they have a lot of live horns. It just sounds wicked. Everyone listen, Brass Tracks, go.
Cool. I haven't heard of that. Very good. Okay. The question used to be, what is your go-to date night food? But since we can't go on dates anymore with COVID, what would be your like DoorDash order or your Postmates?
Oh, tough call, but I'm gonna a burger, as long as it comes quick enough. Because if it comes a bit slow and it's, you know, the fries are soggy, then it's no fun.
Right.
So yeah, we've got a couple burger spots that if we think like we can get it quickly, then that's our move. Yeah.
I do like a good burger. That's
Nothing
a good choice.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay. Well, back when we can go out and do stuff, what would be your go-to date night activity?
Well, that probably will be going to a nice restaurant. I feel like sitting inside and having food is going to feel very strange.
Yeah, I actually have scheduled to go to a couple things coming up in the next few months once I'm vaccinated. Yeah, and I feel like I'm just going to be like openly weeping for like the next year.
I think that's a real possibility. Yeah, and you shouldn't hold it back. Just make sure you take your Kleenex and go for it. Yeah, but so I think for us it's going to be a nice meal.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Dogs or cats?
Dogs. In fact, got a dog about a year ago. She's a very sweet little thing. She's afraid of
Aw.
everything still,
Aw.
but she's very sweet.
Cool. Beaches or mountains?
Beaches. I grew up on by the water, and that's my world. I wish I could get there more often.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Suit and tie or sweats?
I tell you, I would normally say sweats, but I've been in sweats for over a year. Let's suit and tie it up a little bit this year.
Yeah, me too. That's what I say too.
Yeah.
All right. What is your favorite holiday to celebrate?
I mean, probably the winter holidays.
Christmas.
Last few years made a really strong effort of like going home. My wife's family's in Sweden, my family's English, and so we make like a big trip out of it. That's great. But that said, my favorite time of year is sort of when it crosses from summer into autumn, and everything starts getting fresh. Kind of that going back to school time. That's a time that I always really enjoy.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's good. All right. Last question.
Okay.
What is your favorite Hallmark or romantic movie? This is very tough. And you could say one of the ones you're in if you want.
It's My Summer Prince.
That's a good one. It's a good
I
pick.
love that film.
It's a good pick. Yes. Well, you did it. You passed the test. You answered all the questions.
Full marks.
Congratulations.
All right.
Thank you so much for talking with us. This was a blast. I
Thank you
really
very much. I
enjoyed it.
myself.
And
I hope everyone enjoys the film. I hope you enjoy the film.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. So where can people follow you on social media, all that fun stuff?
Instagram, Jackson Turner, JaxonTurner. I'm not 100% sure what my Twitter is. I don't like it. I don't use it.
Okay.
So Instagram's probably the best bet.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, good. We'll have that in the description section. People can follow you. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And make sure you're following the podcast, the Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that so much. We have our Patreon group and merch store. Take a look at that. And thank you so much for coming and talking with us. We really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be able to have you back.
Sounds good. I'd love to.
That'd be great. So we'll talk to you all later. And bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.